Hello friends, Allison here, and in today's video I want to share with you all the story about the day I decided to stop being busy. And the reason why I want to share this with you all is because really I feel like my story is not that unique and that a lot of you will be able to relate and hopefully glean something valuable from it. So for those of you who are new here joining us, welcome. So happy that you're here. The mission of this channel here is really to empower musicians everywhere who want to perform music full-time with all of the insight and knowledge they need to do so. So a small way that you can help support that mission is by going ahead and clicking that like button. Much appreciated. And for those of you who are coming back, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us again. So happy that you're here as well. So with that said, let's dive right into the content here. Now, to paint the picture, up until 6-ish years ago, I was like a lot of violinists out there. I had students at different studios. I was driving to, each night of the week somewhere else. I had, my event music business that was really growing at this time. I had a lot of client communications that I was handling in the spare moments. I had a part-time job in the mornings on top of it all. And my days were basically just spent, from 5 a.m. when I started working at my part-time to like sometimes 9 when I would finish teaching, just basically being reactive and running around and doing as much as I could. And it was exhausting. And at the same time, if I'm honest, it felt a bit validating. I like to work hard. And for me, this was, going into the hustle culture of just being busy was a way to feel good about, being active in a sense. And so there was a little bit of, pride attached to it, if I'm honest, thinking back of what that looked like. Really, I was just saying yes to absolutely everything. But then something changed when I realized that, hey, I'm being reactive, saying yes to a lot of things. There's a lot of activity going on in my life right now, but how much progress is going on with, what I actually want to create? Because when I stepped back and looked at where I wanted to be and what I want to be doing, I wanted to be creating things. I didn't just want to be reacting to things, reacting to emails, just saying yes to every student, every this, that. I wanted to have space and time to actually build things. And so coming to that realization took me a little bit of time, really. I made a big moved around like 4 hours away from my hometown, around 5-ish years ago. And that's when I had an opportunity to kind of start fresh and just think about, what I want to build, not just, having all of these ties that I had to keep saying yes to. It was a really great opportunity. And ironically, I found myself just, being like a magnet back to being busy all the time. I just immediately gravitated towards, finding how I could get involved in like all the orchestras and how I could just be saying yes to everything and, like working another job and doing all these things, and just basically found myself back into that sporadic, busy lifestyle that I was so used to. But it took a bit of a shift in my thinking around, a year or maybe half a year into this, that I realized, hey, I'm again seeing a lot of motion, but how much progress is there? A lot of busyness, but how much am I actually creating? So this is where I really decided to just swipe the slate clean. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being involved with different, community orchestras or whatever it is that you're passionate, that you want to be involved with. There's nothing wrong with having a busy schedule and liking to be active. And if that's what you love to do, then that's amazing and you should go all for that. And I'm super happy for you. But for myself, I realized that I wanted to be spending my time creating things, not just, responding to everything and being, busy all the time with a wide open schedule. And I knew that the secret to being able to create things required space to think, not a packed schedule. I just remember, even in university and such, I would have all my classes laid out and they'd be like an hour, 2 hours. And then if there was some sort of art class, it was like a 5-hour block. And it's like, wow, that looks like a long time, but it went by faster than all of the other, classes that were an hour because you're in a creative state. And this is where I want to be. I want to have a clear calendar and to be able to be in a creative state and build new things. So there I was, a violinist who started saying no to a lot of things that I used to do, like the students and taking every gig that came around and, just saying yes to everything. And it was honestly quite painful at first. There's a lot of FOMO, fear of missing out. I felt sad giving up some things, but the reason why I did it is because I decided I wanted to actually make progress in just one thing, which was being able to really make a music performance business that really was going to be something that was impactful for not only myself, but my team and a lot of people, and just, was fine-tuned to the utmost that it could be. I didn't know exactly what that looked like, but I knew I wanted to focus on, making a way for musicians to be able to perform music full-time and get paid well for it. I also wanted to share that with other musicians as I continued along in the journey. So I made my entire focus that back-end effort, which was fitting for me because I love design and I love the creative process of things like that, even though I had an adjustment period to get used to that way of thinking again. Ultimately, I knew that is what I enjoyed. And really the lesson that I feel might be useful, that you might agree or not agree, that's totally fine. But I think that I was a little bit too hardcore in my thinking. I definitely don't think that, if you're a musician watching this, first of all, definitely not the right thing to do is to say no to playing music or things that you genuinely love about music. But, I'm a bit of a weird case where for me to work on what I wanted to and less of the performance and more of the back end. And I feel like for most musicians out there, the opposite may be true. But for whatever it is required, I feel, to have a focus for a season to make real progress. To stay in the position where you're saying yes to everything and have a schedule that's packed, you're going to just keep in that hamster wheel, has been my experience, unless you create more space and to build something to bring you to the next place you're looking to go. So my general opinion now is that, like I mentioned, I was a bit too hardcore starting off, thinking that I have to say no to everything forever. That's not true. I think that it is genuinely useful to say not yet to things. I work with a lot of musicians, and a lot of them will say, I love them all dearly, but they'll be like, oh, I want to work, this is my main focus, this is what I want to do, yes, I'm all in. And then a few weeks go by and it's this thing and that thing, and it's so easy to get lured in by all these different things that we want to do as musicians, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. What I feel is the solution here, that I'll share my vision for the music space, and maybe it will resonate, hopefully it doesn't land flat, hopefully it makes sense. But my vision for the music space is for musicians to be able to build powerful music brands that can, encapsulate the things they love about music. And these can be different, but they need to be pursued one at a time, is what I strongly believe is the best course of action. For example, building up a schedule so that you're performing, the music that you want to be performing for the types of clients you want to be performing at the rate and schedule that you want to be doing it. That's going to take some focus to do. But if you really love performing music and want to start playing private events or even small shows and things like that, focusing on that, as your first objective, I feel is a really good first step to take that can lead to you saying yes to other things in the future. For example, then once you have the cash flow going from that business and are building the fan base naturally through clients, then you can think about that next mission of just building a stronger fan base, because you already have that one thing going, and now you can incorporate this other goal that you have into your brand, this other goal of releasing music into your brand, and make things work synergistically together, so that every bit of content and everything that you're producing is going to, work for you in multiple ways, rather than you having to be divided and dispersed and just saying yes to everything all the time. I really feel that there is a way to be able to create a music presence and a brand that's going to support all the things that you love, but I do think that there's value in pursuing these things one at a time, so that you make sure that things work, sticking to it for as long as you need to get it working, keeping in mind the things that are important to you as a musician. I'm not saying stop playing your instrument. Obviously, that's going to be a huge part of it. no matter which path you take in most cases, unlike what I did. But in any case, hopefully this is making sense. I hope that that's valuable for you. I know the shiny object syndrome is real, and it's really easy to want to start all these different things and get nowhere. But I just see that happen so much. I just felt it was important to share this story with you musicians of, you know, what I've experienced in terms of being able to sacrifice for a short time and actually make progress in something, and why I feel that adopting some of that mindset may be useful for a lot of you musicians. So let me know what you think. Does anyone have a story to share of when they said no to something? Let me know in the comments. What was your experience like saying no to something that was good for something even better? Any other questions, comments, anything? Like the video, don't like the video, let me know in the comments. Feel free to one more time. Feel free to subscribe for more future videos. We'll be sharing here about everything music space, having fun making music. So hopefully you like what's going on here, and I'll see you next time.